Alright, so let's talk about the sampling distribution. In this video, we talk about the basic concept of sampling distribution and sampling distribution of the sample mean. So let's get started. Recall that the phone service company wants to know how many of current customers are interested in correlating service. They took a random sample of 400 customers out of 100,000 total customers. Of these 400 customers, 38% are interested in their service. But how can the percentage of favorable responses in the sample tell them anything about the population? How can they be sure that the sample is representative of the population? In fact, they can't be totally sure, but with a random sample, they can determine how likely it is that the sample represents the population using probabilities. For example, let's assume the true percentage of people interested in correlating service in the population is less than 30%. When surveying a random sample from this population, it is possible to obtain any sample percentage from 0 to 100, but in reality, the probability of getting a sample with 38 or more favorable responses is very unlikely. In fact, it is less than 4 in 10,000. Probabilities like this are summarized by the sampling distribution. The sampling distribution lists all the possible values of statistic interest. In this case, the sample percentage can be from 0 to 100%, and for each value, the sampling distribution specifies the probability that the value will occur in a random sample. Let's use a graph to look at the sampling distribution for the phone service survey. The horizontal axis shows the possible values of the sample percentage from 0 to 100%. The vertical axis shows the probability of each value. So let's take a close look. We see that a sample of 38% has probability of 0.019. In other words, in 1.9% of all possible samples, exactly 38% of all respondents would be interested in correlating service. We also see that the probability of the sample percentage somewhere between 30% and 40% is very high, while values outside this range are unlikely. We've been looking at the graph of sampling distribution when the population percentage is 39 or 35%. Compare this with the sampling distribution when the population percentage is 38 and 55%. No matter what the population percentage is, at least 95% of all sample has a percentage within 5% of the population value. Let's review. The sampling distribution gives the probability of all possible values of sample statistic. We use the sampling distribution to evaluate the risks associated with the statistical inferences. For example, we can look at the probability that a statistic will be beyond a given distance from the parameter it is estimating. Suppose we sample 5 phones every hour, measures the weight of each phone, and compute the average weight of each sample. The distribution of weight is stable over time and follow a symmetric distribution. Here is a histogram of all the phones sampled during a recent day. The mean is 144.3 and the standard deviation is 1.039. Remember our target is 145. This histogram shows the distribution of individual phones, but typically we use sample means to tell us about the process. So let's consider the sampling distribution of the mean. How do sample means vary from sample to sample if the process remains stable? If the process remains stable, stable, the answer will depend on how large the sample is. These histograms are not for individual phones. They show the distribution of the sample means for samples of different sizes. So how does the sampling distribution of the mean change as the sample size increases? As we can see, the sampling distribution maintains a bell-shaped distribution. It stays symmetric around the population mean. As the sample size increases, the spread of the sample means decrease. This is why the sample mean is a good statistic for estimating a population mean. The larger the sample size, the better the estimate. In general, the mean of the sampling distribution is the same as the population mean. Furthermore, the variance of the sampling distribution is the population variance divided by the sample size. Recall that the variance is in units of square gram, so it is difficult to interpret. It is easier to interpret the standard deviation. The standard deviation of the sampling distribution is important enough to have a special name, the standard error. We might conclude from all of this that the shape of the sampling distribution of the mean is just a more concentrated version of the population distribution. But suppose for a moment we were sampling from a population with highly skewed distribution, like this one. When the population distribution is skewed, the effect of sample size on the sampling distribution of the mean is especially noticeable. Notice that as the sample size increases, the sampling distribution becomes more and more like the bell-shaped distribution we saw when we sampled from a symmetric distribution. In fact, we can make a general statement about the relationship we just saw in this graph. With large enough samples, regardless of the distribution we are sampling from, the sampling distribution of the mean is approximated well by a symmetric bell-shaped distribution. This bell-shaped distribution is called a normal distribution, which we will investigate more closely in next section. A normal distribution is symmetric about its mean, which in this case is the same as population mean. The spread of the normal distribution is determined by its standard deviation, which in this case is standard deviation of the sample mean. The fact that the sampling distribution of the mean approximates the normal distribution is an important theorem in statistics called the central limit theorem. The central limit theorem states that regardless of the population, if we take a large enough random sample, we can approximate the sampling distribution of the mean with a normal distribution. Let's review. Often we want to use statistical inference to draw conclusions about a population mean based on a sample mean. We know some valuable facts that about the sampling distribution of the mean. It has mean v is standard deviation. Now, as the standard error is the population standard deviation divided by the square root of the sample size. And for the large enough samples, the sampling distribution of the mean is well approximated by a normal distribution, which we'll learn more about in next lesson. Thank you for listening. In the next lesson, we'll talk about the normal distribution.